The round got underway on the Thursday before the long weekend. Nice fixture if you can get it. With a 3-goal win favouring the southern end, Tony Bamford's Panthers played with a couple behind the ball when the Magpies were heading into the wind. Clever tactic which made for a close, if not frustrating, game. For the Magpies, Jack Harsmer from Sacred Heart College was best on ground. With college football on hold for the long weekend, college players became available again, if only for one weekend. And Jack enjoyed another run with Port, playing on ball as a ruck rover. One of 3 Jacks supporting Port was Jack Cooper. He's been consistent all year round. A local lad from the Port Districts Football Club, Jack worked well up forward and was rewarded for his efforts with a goal. The 3rd Jack was Jack Foster, an overager also from the Port Districts Football Club. This Jack worked on the wing and through the middle. He's the son of Richard Foster, 4-time Port Adelaide Premiership player and now coach of the Freeling Football Club. Big shoes to fill. From Whyalla, Kyron Hollingworth Hughes played across centre-half back. This is a player who's had an unlucky run this season. He's had various injuries, including a cut hand and a strained hamstring, but he's kept up his skills with 22 clean possessions in this match. The Panthers were well served by an elite golfer. Mitchell Tate decided that he'd give football a go about 3 years ago, but he really is an exceptionally good golfer, playing for Glenelg. Mitch even excelled when his golf team played last year at Kooyonga in the South Australian Junior Amateur Championships. But for now, Mitchell's playing footy and playing it well. From Ranella, he played in the ruck last week, winning 24 hitouts. Jordan Kapler is the son of David Kapler and the nephew of Darren Kapler, both legends of the South Adelaide Football Club. He played across the back line in this match with 13 kicks to his famous name. And just to keep the dynasty theme going, Ed Boyd is the grandson of the great David Boyd with 7 premierships for Port Adelaide in the 50s. Ed was back with South just for the weekend, having been part of Prince Alfred College's football program all year. As so often is the case, the Panthers' 3rd quarter let them down, and they eventually went down to the Magpies by just 7 points. North Adelaide coach Tim Weatherald was able to field one of his strongest teams for the season for round 10. With college kids back for the long weekend and the state under-16 trial pilfering players, Tim made 11 changes to the team that lost to West in round 9, and the changes paid off. Scores were pretty well level up to half-time, but then the Roosters kicked away in a magnificent 3rd quarter. It's not that they had more of the ball, but they certainly did more with it than the Bays. And one player who made the most of his 29 disposals was Harry Wigg, back from Prince Alfred College for the weekend. Harry worked hard on the wing, running up forward for 4 inside 50s and 20 kicks. This was just his 2nd game for the season with the North Adelaide under-18s, and his performance showed just why he's worth waiting for. Also back from college for the day was Jonathan Hayes from Blackfriars. Known as Jono to his teammates, the ex-Port Pirie player worked on ball all day with 22 perfect handballs and 9 clearances. With Luke Trenorden up with the reserves and Jack Turnbull over in Melbourne at a basketball carnival, the job of rucking all day went to Josh Ingram from the Golden Grove Football Club. With his uncle, Dexter Kennedy, who played for Western Port in the 70s and 80s for inspiration, Josh never tired. This was his best game for the season. Adam Blakely's Tigers were up against it in round 10. He had a few college kids back, but then he also had to contend with illness and injury, and his boys struggled to defend against the strong Roosters forward line. They still had a lot of the ball with 20 more disposals than North, but they wasted some critical possessions and didn't gel as a team. There were some good performances though. Damien Hill won the ruck contest more often than not. From the Bordertown Football Club, Damien also took some good marks up forward, and working hard through the midfield was Elliot Chalmers. Elliot returned from Sacred Heart College for this match and finished with a healthy 28 disposals. But the day belonged to North. Well, at least the 3rd quarter did. That's where the match was won. North Adelaide by 25 points. The Eagles came into this match perched on top of the under-18 ladder. The Double Blues were just looking to get into the 5. The result came as a bit of an upset, with Sturt doubling the Eagles' score to win convincingly. In the end, it all came down to commitment. And there can be no one more committed than this young man, Christopher James Moriarty. From St Peter's College, Chris prefers to be called James. It saves confusion with his dad, who's also called Chris. So you got that? James played his first game for Sturt and would have been easier for him to skip it. With a huge Year 12 workload and just about to head off to England with the St Peter's cricket team, the 2012 under-16 best in Ferris still chose to play for Sturt, and he was brilliant across half-back. He allowed Luke Andriskovic to play his preferred role up front, and it all worked out just fine. And also working out fine was Scotch College's James Rose. The 17-year-old kicked 4 goals against Port Adelaide back in round 2. In this match he went even better, kicking 7 against the Eagles. Missing out on state selection last week was 18-year-old Sebastian Week, also from Scotch College. Seb enjoyed his day with the Double Blues with 23 disposals and a goal in the first quarter. Shane Grimm's Eagles would have welcomed back a bunch of college players, but 3 of them joined Brenton Phillips stateside in Queensland. 1 was injured and 1 went on a school camp for the weekend. So while there were changes to his team, it would prove difficult to maintain top spot on the ladder. In his first game for the Eagles was Ethan Haylock, the son of Gary Haylock, who played for Woodville and the Eagles in the 80s and 90s. As an under-17 player, Ethan has plenty of potential with 11 disposals in his first game. Jack Hayes has earned his own respect in recent weeks. Brother of Brisbane's rookie-listed Nick Hayes, Jack from Sacred Heart College played across halfback and even tried his hand in the ruck for a while. Jack Gaffney had his best game for the Eagles. Often best for St Michael's College, Jack played on ball and on the wing for his 20 possessions. And yet another Jack, Jack Enright from the Henley Football Club, played across halfback where he excelled. Jack was dropped earlier in the year, but he's more than made up for any shortcomings he might have had back then. His work ethic now can't be faulted. But in the surprise of the round, the Eagles were soundly beaten across all areas of the ground. At Unley Oval, it was sturt by 11 goals. The evening fixture last Saturday was down at the Richmond Oval. Norwood and Westies always makes for an exciting skirmish, but this was just a display of good, honest football. And but for some poor kicking in the final quarter, the Bloods might have and perhaps should have won, but they didn't kick straight and they didn't win. Best on ground for the Redlegs was Ryan Reevely. Ryan was part of the under-16 state squad last year and was brilliant on the wing for his team. He goes to Adelaide High School, but luckily for the Redlegs, he doesn't play much footy for them. His 26 disposals was a team high. Matt Wallace took some good marks up front. He's an overager stolen from the Tigers after he moved to Adelaide from the southeast. Playing reserves for a good deal of 2013, Matt came back to the under-18s and scored 2 good goals in round 10. Dylan Orcello finished up at Ross Trevor College last year and was noted for his excellent spoiling in this match. It might not get you high on the stat sheets, but it's an essential aspect of any game, especially one that you win. And also working hard on the 1%ers was Toby Lehman. His intercepting was a demonstration of his extraordinary ability to read the play. From Marriotteville High School, Toby got into double figures with his rebound 50s, nailing 10 for the match. For Jared Mears' Bloods, it was yet another small losing margin. He made 9 changes from round 9 with his selection affected by senior promotion, state football and, of all things, that basketball carnival in Melbourne that took Brett Turner off his hands. On the bright side, he did get Nathan Armat Watkins back from college. The captain, Jack Evans, is back from a quad injury. He most likely would have been in the state team if it weren't for his injury. He accounted for 13 clearances and snagged a couple of goals as he worked through the midfield. From Flagstaff Hill, Jack was easily West's best, with half a dozen excellent tackles to keep Norwood honest. Harry Vick is still in fantastic form. He's destined for senior football soon. And Harry Westhoff from the Goodwood Saints Football Club was also excellent. Cousin of Justin and Matthew Westhoff, Harry is a tall defender who used his height to good advantage, having a go in the ruck in the final term. From Emmanuel College, Lockie Dodds-Watkins was determined to get noticed. His strong tackling and bodywork were a feature of this game, especially in the first quarter. Originally from Alice Springs, this is Lockie's first year with Westies, and it may just turn out to be a springboard to greater heights. But he'll have to wait his turn because in round 10 it was Norwood winners by 14 points.